Right, we're showing two rubber seals here. One, the flat one, which Sean's going to just show you. That's the original type of seal that you will buy from any Volkswagen parts supplier, and it's a reproduction of the original stuff that Volkswagen use. Now, we've tried using this, and I know hundreds of customers have, and end up in a hell of a mess with it. Volkswagen had a special press tool to push the glass and that into the frame, and without a tool you're going to find it almost impossible. So we don't use it, we don't like it, let's chuck it away. Right, now what we supply is a rubber seal, a U-section seal. If we can just have a look at the end there, you can see it's U-shaped now, and it's got little tabs on the side and ears on the side, which will give it a neat, easy to fit application. Right, these are the parts and the tools needed for installing the quarter light catch into the quarter light frame. So hammer, drill, scriber, or even a nail, you'll see why in a minute, a couple of rivets, and we're ready to go. So Sean's going to take the frame and the catch and the bits. We'll go to the vise and do the next stage. What we're going to do first of all is just run a 4mm drill through the catch, just to make sure the holes are clean. Sometimes the castings vary a little bit, and with the chrome plate and everything, it's best just to do it beforehand. Right, so now he's going to get the frame, the bits and bobs. Okay, so right, what we're going to do now is fit the catch into the channel itself. So we do a test fit first, open the catch light slightly so the bottom of the catch is clear of the base of the frame, like that, otherwise you could damage it when you do some riveting in a minute. So we're going to push that in with a finger first, and then a bolt, which we've got a chamfered edge on two sides, so it just fits inside the catch there. We're doing it the most simple way, so you guys, I mean, we've got all sorts of presses here. We can do it on arbor presses or fly presses, but this is basic hand tools. So that should have just seated that catch neatly in the frame, which it has done. So we're happy now to think about riveting. Popping a scriber up there just to see that the holes are about right, which will mean the rivets should go in nicely. Look at that, good. So what Sean's going to do now is take that bolt, and there's a bit of a concave end on the bolt. All bolts tend to have it where they're forged, and we use that to round the end of the rivet slightly, which is a neat job. Okay, so take that off and just have a peep. A bit more. That's better. Zoom in a bit. Hold it down again, Sean. Yeah, that's great. So that's showing the formed rivet. So we'll do the other one quickly now. It's worth just running the drill through again just to be sure. There we go. Second rivet. There we go. Down on the hard block. And goes the bolt. And hopefully, there we go, 4 perfectly formed rivets. Okay, right, now we're going to have a go at the real fun part, glazing the thing. Now, there's the traditional way that Volkswagen did it was to use a flat rubber seal like this one and wrap it around the glass, push the glass and all that into the frame, and you try doing it without the original Volkswagen tool. They had a dedicated tool which is in the workshop manual. If you've got one, you can have a look and see how they did it. without that tool, and for most people it's virtually impossible. I've tried it numerous times, always struggled a bit with it, never been completely happy, so let's bin it. The seal that we supply to do this job is a U-section channel that we own our own dies, and we have this made, and it's how I like to see it, neat and tidy. So it's a U-channel with a couple of ears at the top which will land around the edges of the stainless frame in a minute, and there's 6 little tabs as well to give it grip. So now, next strange thing we do, we're gonna, some people will cringe at this point, but believe me, it works. We're going to take some gel super glue, and we're going to put just a tiny drop every 3 inches, not on the sides, just on the top, and it's just tack the rubber on to give you a fighting chance of being able to get the whole thing in relatively easily. Without it, it's tricky. It won't damage the glass, toughen glass. Don't let it roll down the sides, and don't use ordinary watery super glue, use the gel, it won't run. So Sean is now going to put the end of the rubber seal level with the beginning of the catch cut out there, and carefully move it round, making sure that the base of the rubber U-channel is firmly down onto the flat edge of the glass. So he's going to use the table to trap that end while he moves it around the corner, and without actually stretching the rubber, just pull it gently but firmly up and around the top and along to the end there. So those gel spots should be holding that now. We'll leave it a minute or two, and then we'll pick it up, take it to the next stage. Right, okay, so the next step is we've got the rubber has gone off on the glass. We've got some silicone spray which it will aid the insertion. So Sean's just going to give it a quick spray all the way around both sides. You really don't want any dry areas. The whole thing wants to be nicely coated. Right, okay, that's the easy bit. Right, now the tricky bit. So we put that leading front corner in about 3 or 4 inches just above the base there. Get that in. So now we're going to swivel the frame, and the glass will slide around. Sean's pushing it at the top. Just feeding the rubber in past that little vent. This is where the thin steel rule comes in handy. Just gently push that in. Push the rubber down a smidge. Okay, so what we're looking is to try and get the rubber seated equally all the way round before we push much further. So zoom in a little bit there. Okay. Now he's slipping the steel rule around the in between the glass and the trim there to try and get that inside bit down. That is the trickiest bit. Sometimes you might not get it all the way down as neatly as you can. Use the radius then, always helps. That's it. Right, now we're pushing the thing in, really trying to get it bedded in all round. Takes a few minutes. The main thing is just don't rush it, just plenty of silicone, glide it in. What of course you'll find at this point is the silicone is trying to make the rubber slip out a little bit. You'll find that if you get it how to the point that you're happy with it, leave it for a few hours or overnight, the silicone will dry off a little bit, and then the following morning or a couple of hours later just push the corners in again, home tight, and they will stay there then forever. But you should be able to get a nice professional looking seal here as we go. Okay, right, you just come back now. Sean's just wiping a bit of the spray off. You can see it a little bit better. Obviously we've got an overhang of rubber there. What we'll do, we'll get a pair of scissors there and just trim that flush at the moment, just like that. Yep. And I'm going to zoom in. If Sean puts it on the table, I'll show you what it should look like. Let's get it at the right angle. So we've got seal nicely in place, looking really sharp all the way along into the top corner. That corner will be better tomorrow once the oil is dried. If you go around and just push that with your thumb tomorrow, that will stay like the rest of the frame. It's really quite neat. Now what we normally do here is I like to get a sharp Stanley knife, craft knife, and just take those tabs off. So I'll back off and let Sean have a go at that. Carefully, without scratching the glass, cut only the area that you want removed. Just work your way around, fingers out of the way at all times. Let's have a look at that. Pretty sharp, I'd say. Okay, now the last little bit. As you've already been wondering, there's a little segment that we purposely left. Trying to get that rubber seal through the catch is pretty well impossible. We've tried it umpteen times, and this is why we do it this way. We're going to now take an insert, the piece of rubber you cut off, going to slip it in that end. And that's right in, right up to the catch. We're going to get the scissors in a minute, and we're going to trim that excess off. And then what I would do then is take it out, put a touch of super glue or silicone just to hold it all there. Sean loves me at this point. That's it, bit of glue in the bottom of the rubber channel. Now get it back in without sticking it to your fingers. Chuck the steel rule at it just to get the last bit in. Trimming off again. Same on the other side. So we're trying to do this quickly in real time to show you. Probably better if you left that 10 minutes. Let the glue go off. Bottom bit hanging on, I think. Can you tell this is unrehearsed? Right. Okay, so there we have finished seal. Could put a bit of clear silicone around the end if you wanted, just to seal it, but I think that's fine. I mean, it's very neat. I would say more finished looking than the original, and the easy way of doing it. As I say, expect it to take about 15 minutes, I would, if you haven't done that before. Don't rush it. If it takes you half an hour, so what? This is one of the trickiest jobs on the car, so just don't rush it, just get it right, and you'll be pleased with the end result. Okay, this is just one final shot of the finished product, because we noticed on that last little section the glass had tried to slip out because it was still soaking wet. This is taken about 5 to 10 minutes later. We've just given it another push in just by hand, and now the glass is level with the ends perfectly all the way up, nice at the top. And we'll zoom in and you can see the rubber seal is really neat all the way around. Like I say, if you just go around another couple of hours or tomorrow morning or something, just give it one more shove, all the silicone will have dried up basically, and the rubber will then grip. I'm just going to turn it over, show you the other side, just to show that we're not tricking anyone here. That's looking through to the inside of the other side of the frame. There's none of the rubber here vanished into the frame. That bit's nice now. I've just given it another push. We've tried to do this, as I say, in real time, and it's still slipping. Even that corner is just sliding a little bit at the moment. But give it a few hours and it'll dry exactly where you want it. But it's such an easy way, neat way of doing it. That's what we want to help you with.